Welcome to Surviving Fatherhood. We're raising a healthy, happy daughter. I'm Ken Larson. This is my daughter, Ellen Schmitz, and she's the dadvocate. And you might go, she's the dadvocate. Where did that come from? Well, when we were working on this project, we were talking to an editor, and he was talking about, okay, why you two? I know it's father-daughter, but why Ellen? And he really wanted, he could figure out me. You're a dad, you can speak to dads. But what about Ellen? And so he started to talk to Ellen, and he said, I want to know what your passion is. And she said, well, it's kind of interesting. I really like dads. And we started talking about it, and she said, and as I got to know dads, I realized that they needed maybe potentially an advocate. And I wanted to advocate for them to let them know that we wanted to help them be greater dads. Not just good dads, but great dads. And he said, well, you're the advocate. And it stuck, and it seemed right, because that really is her passion. So this is my daughter, Ellen Schmitz.
And I know he already introduced himself. This is Ken Larson, but to me, he's not Ken Larson. He really is the world's greatest dad. And the reason why he's the world's greatest dad to me is because he's just been a great dad my whole life. He's always been there. He was intentional about showing up at my soccer games, or heaven forbid when I was a cheerleader and he had to show up at a girls' basketball game, a lot of girls' basketball games, and watch me cheer.
Yes, I do.
Or, with my younger sister when he had to show up in his full wool suit in the middle of winter at a swim meet for my sister where it was like 75 degrees in the building, and he had to take off his socks and roll up his pants just to not completely suffocate in the hot room. And he's the world's greatest dad just because he cares. And he's not perfect. He messed up a lot. I'll tell you more stories about that later, about all the screw-ups. But he tried, and he showed up, and he cared, and he was stable and dependable and reliable, and he put the needs of his children before his own needs so often. And he really has just been a great dad. And even though we went through rocky times in our relationship and we struggled, he kept coming back. He kept telling me how much he loved me and cared about me. And he was just always a dad to me. And so that's kind of what led me to really care about fathers and daughters, because as we worked through all of our own stuff, all of our own issues, we realized, this is a difficult skill set, and it seems like it should just be common sense. But if you know anything about parenting, it's not common sense. It's not rocket science either. It's not super hard, but you need a little help along the way. And so what we want to do through this seminar is kind of educate you about some of the really important things that you need to know. So we've got 5 key topics that we're going to cover in different segments. The first thing we're going to talk about is that girls and boys really are different, how they're different, why they're different. We're also going to explain to you how mothering and fathering are really 2 different things, 2 different skill sets, and why fathers are so important and why it's necessary for a daughter to have a father. Then we're going to break down what we have discovered are the 3 stages of the father-daughter relationship, because it's not just one relationship, it's really 3 separate stages that exist in this relationship that you have over a lifetime. And then we're going to explain to you the role that you as a father should play in each and every one of those stages. And then finally, we're going to teach you some of the key principles that you need to teach your daughter and how to do it. So it's not going to be too hard. It's not going to be too overwhelming. But we hope you're going to get some new information here and some really simple skills that you can put into practice right away today to be a better dad, to have a better relationship with your daughter, and to kind of help you raise her to be the happy and healthy woman that you want her to eventually become. And, my dad kind of hinted at this a little bit, but, we really are just a father and daughter. We're not experts, but we do have a lot of experience doing this whole father-daughter thing. Through a lot of trial and error and ups and downs and hard times, we've learned a lot about fathers and daughters, fathering a daughter. But also, we've done a lot of research as well. We've looked into all of the clinical research and the studies. We've looked at a lot of anecdotes. We've talked to a bunch of people, and we've realized that this really is a unique and special relationship. And it's something that deserves attention. It deserves to be talked about because it's an important relationship that will impact both father and daughter for their entire lifespan. And in the process of all this research and experimenting and trial and error, we've also written several books about relationships and a couple books specifically about father-daughter relationships. So you can check out our other books. We wrote a book called The Father-Daughter Journey that really helps dads and daughters, especially in those teen years, to connect to each other. There's both a father's manual and a daughter's manual. And we are working on our latest book right now, Surviving Fatherhood. That's what this seminar is based on, but it takes it to a much broader scale, and that book will be out later this year. So go ahead and look for Surviving Fatherhood as well. So we're really excited to share all this new information with you, and we hope that this seminar really helps you to be a better dad and to have a better relationship with your daughter.
Don't introductions to make you sound good. And really, we learn best by our failures, unfortunately. And so we've learned a lot of these things and worked them together. But the real thing, I think what the real magic was in this project was it was Ellen and I working together. We're a real father and daughter. And that, I learned a bunch of things about women, daughters, that I had no clue about. And I
learned a lot more, honestly, more than I want to know about men and fathers and the way they think.
And so we think that we can kind of pull back the curtain for both of you, so that for fathers listening to us, you can learn some things that what your daughter was thinking and maybe what she's doing, and vice versa, that daughters can look at dads and go, oh, is that what dad's really doing? And it's just like, well, yeah, I think so. And then our promise is, this is the why to wait around and finish the seminar, is that we put this all on one sheet of paper for you so that you can use it and have this effective tool.
We make one diagram.
One diagram.
That fits on one sheet of paper that explains everything we're going to talk about.
So when stuff happens, guess what? Father-daughter relationships, Stuff happens, you can pull out literally this one sheet and you remember the things that we've talked about in the seminar. So when we hit on that, I'll just tell you, it was like, woohoo, this is it.
But we got to get you there.
We got to get there. We got to start.
So let's get started fathering daughters.